Good morning, everybody, and welcome to this week's virtual family story time. My name is Martha, and I'm one of the children's librarians here at Chapel Hill Public Library. And before we get started, I just wanted to give you guys a brief update on a change that's going to be occurring with our virtual story time starting next week. So if you missed it, there is now an event listed in the event section here on Facebook for Zoom story time for September. So on Wednesdays at 10 o'clock, we're going to do live story time on Zoom. That's every Wednesday in September. So you can go to our events page and find that link to register. Space is limited, so please do sign up ahead of time. For those of you who can't make Wednesdays at 10 o'clock work, which we know is a lot of you, the good news is we're still going to be adding pre-recorded story times to our YouTube page where all the virtual programs we've done are currently living. So we'll still be having some bilingual story times, some PJ story times, and all that good stuff being added to our YouTube page every week. So to find us on YouTube, we're just Chapel Hill Public Library. So there's currently more than 30 recorded story times on there at this moment. So plenty to keep you occupied. So hopefully there's something for everyone. All right, that's my piece of news for this morning. So we're going to go ahead and get started. I have 3 stories for you today, and they're all about different animals. 2 of them are some of my absolute favorite stories to read out loud, so I'm excited to share them with you. But before we read them, we are going to sing our welcome song, as always, which is The More We Get Together. So if you guys want to sing along with me, that'd be great. All right. The more we get together, 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 the more we get together, the happier we'll be. 'Cause your friends are my friends and my friends are your friends. The more we get together, the happier we'll be. All right, so we're gonna start with our first story, which is called Muncha, Muncha, Muncha. So I told you that all of our stories today are about animals. What animal is this story about? What animal is it? Bunnies. Some very mischievous bunnies, though. Bunnies who want to steal lots of delicious food from a garden. So let's see if they're successful in trying to steal that food. I'm going to scoot a little closer so you guys, there we go, can see the pictures better. For years, Mr. McGreely dreamed of planting a garden. He dreamed of getting his hands dirty, of growing yummy vegetables, and of gobbling them all up. But he never once tried it until this spring, said Mr. McGreely. This spring, by golly, I'm going to plant a garden. So he hoed and he sowed and he watched his garden grow. Lettuce, carrots, peas, tomatoes, yum, yum, yummy, said Mr. McGreely. I'll soon fill my tummy with crisp, fresh veggies. But one night, and when the sun went down and the moon came up, 3 hungry bunnies appeared. Tippy, 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 pat. Muncha, muncha, muncha. Got some good looking lettuce, didn't they? The next morning, when Mr. McGreely saw his gnawed sprouts, he was angry. So he built a small wire fence all around his vegetable garden. There, he declared, no bunny can get into my garden now. And the sun went down, and the moon came up, and tippy, 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 pat, spring, hurdle, dash, 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 muncha, muncha, muncha. The next morning, when Mr. McGreely saw his nibbled leaves and gnawed sprouts, he was really angry. So he built a tall wooden wall behind the small wire fence all around his vegetable garden. He huffed. Those flock beers will never get over it. No bunny can get into my garden now. And the sun went down, and the moon came up, and tippy, 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 pat, dig, scrabble, scratch, 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 spring, hurdle, dash, 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 muncha, muncha, muncha. These are very resourceful bunnies, aren't they? The next morning, when Mr. McGreely saw his chewed stems, his nibbled leaves, and his gnawed sprouts, he was really, really angry. So he made a deep, wet trench outside the tall wooden wall, behind the small wire fence, all around his vegetable garden. Ha, he snorted. Those pufftails can't get under it. They can't get over it. No bunny can get into my garden now. Do you think it's gonna work? Let's see. And the sun went down and the moon came up and tippy, 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 pat. Dive, paddle, splash, splash, splash. Dig, scrabble, scratch, scratch, scratch. Spring, hurdle, dash, dash, dash. Muncha, muncha, muncha. My goodness. The next morning, when Mr. McGreely saw his chomped blossoms, his chewed stems, his nibbled leaves, and his gnawed sprouts, how do you think he felt? He was furious. So he hammered and blocked, sawed and stalked, drilled and filled and trapped and locked, and he built a huge, enormous thing before the deep, wet trench, outside the tall wooden wall, behind the small wire fence, all around his vegetable garden. I've outsmarted those twitch whiskers for sure, he exclaimed. They can't get through it, they can't get under it, and they can't get over it. No bunny, no way, no how can get into my vegetable garden. And the sun went down, and the moon came up, and tippy, 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 stop. The 3 hungry bunnies looked and smelled and touched the huge, enormous thing before them, and tippy, 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 pat. The bunnies hopped away. Mr. McGreely finally did it. He finally figured out a way to keep the bunnies out of the garden, right? The next morning, when Mr. McGreely saw his untouched vegetables, he was, how do you think he felt? Happy. I beat the bunnies! He whooped and did a jiggly wiggly victory dance. Then he climbed over, jumped across, squeezed between, and crawled under until he reached his vegetable garden. Ah, sighed Mr. McGreely, at last. Smacking his lips, he picked and pulled up lettuce, carrots, peas, tomatoes, and with his basket overflowing, he reached inside for something yummy. But who else is in that garden with him? Who was so sneaky and figured out a way to get inside? Muncha, Muncha, Muncha! There's some crafty bunnies. And there's Mr. McGreely and the bunnies all having carrots. Because at some point, you just gotta give up, right? Those bunnies are too smart for him. What can he do? All right, so we're gonna sing a song now before we read our next book. Ooh, try not to bump the camera also while I'm at it. So our song is going to be about the different sounds that various animals that you might find in the zoo make. So our first animal is going to be the lion. What sound does a lion make? Does it go roar? So we're going to sing a song with the lions that goes like this. You can hear the lions roaring at the zoo. Roar, roar! You can hear the lions roaring at the zoo. Roar, roar! You can hear the lions roaring. You can hear the lions roaring. You can hear the lions roaring at the zoo. Roar, roar! My roar was not very scary. I apologize. Our next animal is my least favorite animal, one that I always avoid at the zoo, in nature, everywhere I might encounter it, and that is a snake. What sound does a snake make? Does it say hiss, hiss? Very good. You can hear the snakes hissing at the zoo. Hiss, hiss. You can hear the snakes hissing at the zoo. Hiss, hiss. You can hear the snakes hissing. You can hear the snakes hissing. You can hear the snakes hissing at the zoo. Hiss. And our last animal is a monkey. What does a monkey say? Does it say, ooh, ooh, ah, ah? Does not fit quite as neatly into 2 syllables like the other animal sounds, but we're going to try it in our song. Let's see how it goes. You can hear the monkeys chattering at the zoo. Ooh, ooh, ah, ah! You can hear the monkeys chattering at the zoo. Ooh, ooh, ah, ah! You can hear the monkeys chattering. You can hear the monkeys chattering. You can hear the monkeys chattering at the zoo. Ooh, ooh, ah, ah! Whew, just barely fit in that song. All right, we're gonna read another story now. We're gonna read A Frog in the Bog by Carmen Wilson. So I'm gonna scoot a little closer again, just to make sure everyone can see well. And much like those bunnies in Muncha, Muncha, Muncha were very hungry, this is about a frog who's also very hungry, but not for the same food that a bunny eats. There's a frog on the log in the middle of the bog. A small green frog on a half-sunk log in the middle of the bog. He flicks one tick as it creeps up a stick. One tick in the belly of a small green frog on a half-sunk log in the middle of the bog. And the frog grows a little bit bigger. He sees two fleas as they leap through the reeds. One tick, two fleas in the belly of the frog on a half-sunk log in the middle of the bog. And the frog grows a little bit bigger. Ooh, what bug does he spy next? Can you tell what those are? They're flies. He spies 1, 2, 3 flies as they buzz through the skies. One tick, two fleas, 3 flies, oh my, in the belly of the frog on a half-sunk log in the middle of the bog. And the frog grows a little bit bigger. He glugs 4 slugs as they slink through the sludge. One tick, two fleas, 3 flies, oh my, 4 slugs, ew, ugh, in the belly of the frog on a half-sunk log in the middle of the bog. And the frog grows a little bit bigger. He inhales 5 snails from their heads to their tails. One tick, two fleas, 3 flies, oh my, 4 slugs, ew, ugh, and 5 slimy snails in the belly of the frog on a half-sunk log in the middle of the bog. What a hog, that frog. It's a lot of bugs in the tummy of one frog, isn't it? And the frog grows a little bit bigger. He's not a very small frog anymore, is he? He's a big frog. And then that log with the frog in the middle of the bog starts to rise, and the frog sees eyes. And the frog sees claws and a big set of jaws and a mouth like a crater, and the frog screams, "Gator!" With his mouth open wide, all the bugs inside start to crawl and fly and slither and slide. Out come 5 snails from their heads to their tails. 4 slugs, ew, ugh. 3 flies, oh my. 2 fleas, dear me. And 1 tiny tick, ick. And right in the middle of his holler, that frog grows a whole lot smaller. See you later, says the gator as he romps through the swamp, because the itty-bitty frog isn't big enough to chomp. Now, the bugs in the bog keep away from the frog, and the frog never sits on a half-sunk log. The end. All right, so in that story, there was an alligator. We're going to do a counting rhyme that involves something very similar to an alligator. What animal is really, really, really like an alligator, but just a little bit different? Is it a crocodile? That's right. So we're going to do the 5 little monkeys sitting in a tree. So first of all, we need to get our 5 little monkeys ready for the tree. So I need you to hold up one hand, and let's count our monkeys. We've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 5 little monkeys sitting in the tree, teasing Mr. Crocodile. You can't catch me. Along comes Mr. Crocodile, quiet as can be, and snaps a monkey right out of the tree. How many monkeys do we have left? 1, 2, 3, 4. 4 little monkeys sitting in a tree, teasing Mr. Crocodile. You can't catch me. Along comes Mr. Crocodile, quiet as can be, and snaps 1 monkey out of the tree. How many monkeys do we have left? 1, 2, tree. 3 little monkeys sitting in a tree, teasing Mr. Crocodile. You can't catch me. Along comes Mr. Crocodile, quiet as can be, and snaps 1 monkey out of the tree. How many monkeys do we have left? 1, 2. Do you think they should stop teasing Mr. Crocodile? I think that would be a good idea. 2 little monkeys sitting in the tree, teasing Mr. Crocodile. You can't catch me. Along comes Mr. Crocodile, quiet as can be, and snaps 1 monkey out of the tree. How many monkeys are left? 1. 1 little monkey sitting in the tree, teasing Mr. Crocodile. You can't catch me. Along comes Mr. Crocodile, quiet as can be, and snaps that monkey out of the tree. Are there any more monkeys left in the tree? Nope. Hopefully they all fell in the water and then swam away as fast as they could and learned to never tease a crocodile. I think that's a good life lesson for those monkeys. All right, we're gonna read our last story. And this one is actually, it's a book, but it's really kind of a guessing game. So we'll see if you can guess what different animals are, all right? This book is called Who? Who? What could this one be? Who is that animal peeking through the page? It's a, what is that? I bet you're gonna say sheep. It's actually a baby sheep, which is a lamb. And what does a lamb say? Meh, meh. All right. Who could that be? Who is this one gonna be? It's, can you tell what it is? It's a frog. And what does a frog say? Ribbit, ribbit. It's a very abstract frog, but it's still a frog. Ooh, who could this one, oops, there we go. Who could this one be? It's a, what animal is that? A goose. And what does a goose say? Honk, honk. Ooh, what is this one going? Why am I so bad at this? What is this one going to be? What is it? They're mice. What does a mouse say? Squeak, squeak, squeak. We got 1, 2, 3 mice, so 3 little squeaks. Oh, what is it going to be this time? There we go. One of my favorites. It's a cat. What does a cat say? Meow, meow. What is this one? I know it's hard to guess from these cutouts, isn't it? It's a tricky guessing game. It's an owl. And what does the owl say? Hoo, hoo. Just like the title of the book. Oh my goodness. Is it going to be all the animals we've met in this book so far? Can you remember which ones we've met? I don't think I can remember them all. Let's see what they all are. We've got the owl, hoo, hoo. The lamb, meh, meh. The goose, honk, honk. The frog, ribbit, ribbit. The mice, squeak, squeak, squeak. And the cat, meow, meow. Good job. Thank you guys for playing along at home with me. We are out of time for today, so we are going to wave goodbye now, all right? Wave high, wave low. I think it's time. We gotta go. Wave your elbows, wave your toes, wave your tongue, wave your nose, wave your knees, wave your lips, blow a kiss with fingertips. Wave your ears. Wave your hair. Wave your belly and your derriere. Wave your chin. Wave your eye. Wave your hand and say goodbye. Hi everybody, thanks for coming. So we'll see you on Friday for another one of our special story times. And then starting next Wednesday, we will not see you here on Wednesdays. We will see you hopefully on Zoom. Have a good day, everyone.